The station appeared without warning, floating beyond Mars' orbit, a perfect twin of the ISS that should not exist. Its solar wings hung cracked and blackened, the structure cold yet humming faintly, like something asleep and listening. Elias and his crew of 3 tightened their straps as their shuttle drifted closer. Marcus muttered that it looked like a reflection pulled from a nightmare. Alvarez whispered about failed missions no one spoke of, lost crews swallowed by silence. Yara only stared, as if the station itself was staring back. The docking clamps resisted, as though the ship didn't want them. When the hatch finally gave, stale air rolled out, metallic and foul, carrying the faint echo of movement. They stepped inside, lights flickering as though recognizing them. Every corridor was identical to the real ISS, yet wrong, angles sharper, doors leading to places that had no reason to exist. A trail of frost clung to the walls, glistening like veins. Elias's pulse hammered as he realized this wasn't a relic. It was alive, and it had been waiting. The deeper they went, the stranger it became. Panels opened into chambers no human had designed, vast caverns of steel threaded with veins that pulsed like arteries. The air felt heavier, charged with a rhythm that matched their own heartbeats. Marcus froze at a hatchway, flashlight shaking. In the corner lay a spacesuit, visor cracked. Inside was a corpse with features identical to his own. Elias grabbed his shoulder before panic could take him, but the others had already seen. Alvarez swore it was a trick, yet when another chamber revealed a body with Yara's face staring lifelessly back, silence gripped them all. These weren't coincidences, they were doubles, preserved like trophies. The station creaked as if amused, metal groaning like laughter. Elias forced them onward, but unease grew with every step. The corridors seemed to shift behind them, cutting off the way back. He realized this place wasn't abandoned at all. It was shaping itself around them, choosing what to show and what to hide. And the longer they stayed, the more it felt like the station already knew who each of them was. They found what looked like a control hub, but it wasn't built by human hands. Consoles rose from the floor like bone, slick with a resinous film, humming with alien light. When Alvarez touched a panel, it shifted beneath his fingers like skin. The entire room brightened, and screens bled into view. Images of Earth, of cities, of faces Elias recognized. His own childhood home flickered across the walls before melting into static. The others backed away, but the station reacted as if fed. The walls trembled, machinery grinding deep inside the structure. Then came the sound, a low resonance, almost a voice, vibrating through their bones. Elias couldn't tell if it spoke words or memories. A corridor collapsed behind them, cutting off retreat. Yara hissed that it was herding them, pulling them deeper. She wasn't wrong. The paths ahead seemed clearer, almost inviting, glowing faintly with bioluminescent veins. When Marcus shined his light into the dark ahead, a figure stood waiting. It wore his suit, his face, but its eyes were hollow, reflecting nothing. The double didn't move at first. Then, with a mechanical slowness, it tilted its head, mirroring Marcus's every gesture until the resemblance was unbearable. Marcus panicked, raising his weapon. The shot rang out, but the figure only staggered and dissolved into ash that hung in the air like spores. The ship shuddered violently, as if the station had felt the wound. Pipes burst overhead, showering them with freezing vapor. Yara screamed that it wasn't safe here anymore, but there was nowhere left to go except forward. They ran through twisting passages until they entered a vast chamber. At its center pulsed a sphere of translucent flesh, threaded with lights like galaxies. Each throb sent waves of static crawling across their visors. Elias understood. They were standing inside something alive, and the doubles were merely extensions of its will. The sphere pulsed harder when it noticed them. Elias swore he felt it reading him, searching memories he hadn't touched in years. Then the lights around the chamber dimmed, and shapes began to peel themselves out of the walls. The shapes solidified into grotesque parodies of the crew. Alvarez stared in horror as one formed with his face but stretched too tall, its smile unhinged. Yara's double whispered with her exact voice, mocking every word. The real crew fired desperately, bullets sparking uselessly against shifting forms. Elias shouted for them to retreat, but the station was closing around them. Passageways twisted shut, sealing like wounds. He realized this wasn't defense. It was assimilation. The station wanted to claim them, absorb their bodies and memories until no trace remained. They stumbled into what looked like a hangar, half collapsed and filled with alien machinery fused to human tech. Their own shuttle sat there, but its hull was already being rewritten, metal rippling like muscle tissue. Marcus collapsed, muttering they were already dead. Elias grabbed him, forcing his eyes open, refusing to let the fear win. Yara found a console that looked part organic, part machine. She swore it could override something. Elias knew it was their last chance. Alarms, if they could be called that, rose from the station's core, a deafening roar of metal grinding against itself. Yara's hands flew across the writhing console, trying to force a sequence. Sparks leapt, blood-like fluid spattered from the wires, and the sphere in the core began to writhe in agony. The doubles screamed as one, collapsing into heaps of dust. Marcus, trembling, dragged Alvarez toward the shuttle as the hangar itself convulsed. Panels warped, tearing apart as if the station were dying. Elias and Yara forced the engines online. The shuttle groaned, part of it still fused with alien matter, but the thrusters lit. The docking bay walls buckled inward like ribs closing on prey. With a final surge, they broke free, flames trailing behind as the alien ISS shrank into the void. In silence, Elias looked back. The station pulsed once more, as if watching them go. Not destroyed, only wounded. He whispered that it had learned them, that one day it would follow. And as Earth came into view, none of them felt like they had truly escaped.